Life is pain. You call me stranger. I call myself salvation.
The love of a god is not a blessing, it's a scar.
If destiny herself beckons me, then I shall greet her like an old lover.
There's gotta be more to life than making mistakes and making up for your mistakes.
I'm the paragon of risk and reward, behaving as more of a suggestion.
Fate is an offer I intend to reject.
You don't know me. I'm unpredictable, bitch.
I don't need to be a paragon to help save the world.
I came back for a reason, and I am not stopping until I find it.
I will solve the cataclysm, and I'll solve the mystery of myself, too. 4 paragons, 4 keepers, 1 stranger. Huh. Odds are in our favor. Now let's go save Endake. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Arc 8, Episode 6 of Transplanar RPG's The Second Stranger. We are an all-transgender POC-led D&D dark fantasy show set in an original non-colonial anti-orientalist world, and I am your game master and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me all across the internet at by Connie Chong. I'm gonna be expeditious and pass along introductions up and over to Austin.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Austin. My pronouns are he, they, she. I play a BQ-ish. Our pronouns are she, they. You can find me on Twitter at SalesCadelsons, that's Sailor SCT Austin, and I'm gonna give it to Val. I think this is the right way. Maybe it's this way. I'm bad at mirrors.
I sure am in a location, unbeknownst to anyone. But hello, everybody. I'm Valiant Dorian, specifically Love Wins Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. That is a promise, invitation, and a threat. And today I have the distinct pleasure of playing Voska, the Paragon Nebuza, who's a she, they pronouns. And you can find me on the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Alter Spirit. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt I just sent you on. And I'm going to pass the introductions over to Dare.
Hi, I'm Dare. I've done nothing wrong in my life. My pronouns are she, they, and fae. And I'm playing Gentle, a Triton who's absolutely done nothing wrong in their life for real. You can find me on the internet at Dare to Dream RPG. That is DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG. Almost forgot how to spell my own fucking intro, but I made it. And from that, I'm going to throw it down to Erica.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erica. She, her pronouns. I play Vasanti Nakshirzo. Also, she, her pronouns. Who's a fucking dragon. I can swear, right? Yeah, we swear all the time. And yeah, you can find me on Twitch at Erica Please. That's Erica PLZ, where I'm probably a gay cowboy in an RP land. So come check it out sometime. I'm going to pass it over to Quinn.
Hi, hello. I am Quinn, and my pronouns are they, them. Today I'll be playing Sitlali Thornheart, who uses they, she pronouns, your local grave cleric and paladin of the weave. Casually, no big deal. That will not be relevant today at all. My Twitter's at Quintastic_. Cool. That's where I live. And I'm going to pass it to Max.
Hey, I'm Max. My pronouns are they, them. I play Dewey Quirk. You know him. You have complicated feelings about him. You can find me on the internet at Starchmonger. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'll pass things up to Hamna.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and I'm a TTRPG performer. Today, I'm going to be playing John Gother, who uses they, he pronouns, who died and then became keeper. That's fun. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, and I will pass it up top to C.
Hi everyone, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me making very trans, very gay art on the internet at PieSharpArt. Tonight I have the absolute pleasure of playing your beloved Oka boyfriend killer Hien, who also uses they, them pronouns. And I'm going to pass it right over to Valiant Dorian for our sponsorship information.
Thank you, Oka boyfriend killer Hien. I am very, very happy to say that this episode of The Second Stranger is sponsored by Dimitri Opines at Explain Trade, a negotiation skills training consultancy believing in the power of D&D and Transplanar's potential to grow, tell great stories, and lift up our communities. Explain Trade trains negotiators for government, big companies, NGOs, and offers e-learning courses for individuals looking to get a better deal from their boss. Check them out at explaintrade.com. And I'm Erica, we've got some other people people to thank, please? Tell me who are these incredible folks to thank, please?
Yes, we are thanking the Patreon Paragons. These are the people who have donated at the highest tier of our Patreon, and for that, we thank you so much. And those folks are Alex, Ozra, Brooke Bright, Charles, Chilakras, Cora Eckert, Emma, Hat, Conding, Lex Slater, Purple Mouse, Scruffusus, and Target. Thank you so much. And now, my favorite part of every session. Quinn, please tell Grandma Erica what's happening.
All right, Grandma Erica, I know a lot's going on. So, last time on The Second Stranger, the final battle for Andake rages onward. Abiku returns from the dream realm with the spirits of her titanic ancestors and the song of Tungal. Holy shit, what the fuck, y'all? Woof. Oka kills Monster Duran, and he's able to accept keepership in the moment of death. About fucking time. Oblivion throws everyone into demi-planes to try to break them, but the God Shards, Paragons, and Keepers stand strong. And Oblivion begins the countdown. Use the exclamation point recap command in chat to reach our full written recap document. And see, my darling, what content warnings can we expect from today's episode?
Content warnings, you know them, we have them. Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, apocalypse, trauma and grief, depictions of war, body horror, monsters and monstrosity, gore, blood and bloodletting, death of loved ones, complex and complicated relationships, romance and references to sexual entanglements, and eldritch abominations. Use exclamation point CW in chat to get a look at our content warnings at any time, and exclamation point safety to learn more about the cast lines and veils to know what content we'll never get into no matter how dark things get. And I'll pass it to Connie for whatever this is about to be.
Yes, now everybody please, as always, make your fate rolls, which is a gay d20. That's how we say straight d20s, but we're not straight here, we're gay, with no modifiers. So I want y'all to tell me now what you got on your fate rolls.
Oh my god, I got another fucking nat 20!
Things are looking up for Oka Hien. I feel like you're finally rolling hot in arc 8 of all arcs. I love that. Voska.
That is a 17 for me.
17. Vasanti.
Also a 17.
Ooh, the V Squad. Dewey.
4.
Sitlali.
Natural 20. Sluts of Sin. Rise again.
More like the Sluts of Sin right again. Gentle.
I'm gonna join Team Dewey on getting a 4. It's fine.
Oof.
Blue team got it.
We have 2 420s. Duran.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to leave Godjar LLC. I got a 14.
Ooh, okay. Bootstrapping it. And finally, Abiku.
I also got a natural 20.
Wait, seriously, 3? 3 nat 20s? Okay.
Do we win, Connie?
No big deal. No big
Session
deal.
over, we won.
Something may or may not have happened because of that. Never mind. Okay, so moving on to the title of this episode. Arc 8, Episode 6, the title is Go Loud, Go Screaming, Go Bright. From Eulogy for a Dying World by Connie Chong. And the full verse reads as follows. Don't hold the mountains against me. Don't tell me how the rocks sing. Don't count the veins of lightning sparking against that black plate, that cowardice, that kneeling, that end of all things. Don't whisper your last folklore. Don't huddle against the hard glass, my glass. Bulletproof, but this ain't bullets. Don't sigh out of existence. Go loud, go screaming. Go bright, swelter, incandescent. Burn to ashes. Fall to sword. Crawl on your belly if you have to. Sharpen your teeth to blades, and when your hands are gone, your eyes are gone, your magic, your arrows are gone, bite. And when they take that too, rage. Die screaming. Die cursing. May the last thing sees be your fist the size of a forgotten moon knocking teeth out. Die screaming. Die cursing. But die. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Opening. Like the wings on a butterfly. Like the blades on a scissor. Like a wound across a beaten body is a jagged aperture of light. Next to a single stupefied soldier, this aperture ripples into existence, about 12 feet tall, maybe 8 feet wide, an oval with jagged edges, a birthmark, a scar. Takes us a minute to realize that it's not light coming through the other side of this aperture, actually. Rather, it's not just light. First of all, the lights are moving quickly, very quickly, faster than sprinting horses. There's a long strip of something black, curved, and the lights are moving on top of it. And the smell that comes through is hot, burning, sulfurous. And then a pair of these lights get very, very, very big, and exploding out through this aperture is a monster. A roaring, growling, sprinting monster, all metallic flank and bright, burning eyes and a glowing horn with strange symbols across the top. And there's a man inside the monster, a pane of glass in front of his face, a man holding a wheel, wide-eyed, screaming soundlessly, staring at the dodging and ducking soldiers around him. And behind him, there's a woman, also inside the monster, but she's looking down. She's staring at something square and glowing in her hand, and she's not even noticing what's happening around her. And then another aperture rips open, and the taxi cab vanishes back onto the Shanghai Expressway. And there are more apertures now, more portals, opening and closing across the battlefield in an infinite symphony. Other worlds, other universes, other planes leer open across the Badlands. Through one portal, we see a waterfall of just lobsters, just pouring and pouring and pouring so many lobsters just onto the red rock of the Badlands. And we see Manaya, Napua, Kahealani, Captain Lahana, Babatunde, and the rest of the ruffled flinch and turn in abject shock as more and more crustaceans just rain down across their shoulders. And through another portal, we see slags of molten lava bubble up through the ground, except this magma is blue, bright blue, like a cerulean sky. And nearby, Lady Saram and Sybil narrow their eyes, raise slender rapiers in concert as something massive, hulking, crystalline begins to form out of this blue magma. And we see another gash in reality, just gushing light. Just pure, golden, radiant, tangible light, but the empty beasts and the soldiers it touches are burned into ash as the light sweeps across the battlefield like the searchlights of a rescue ship or the incandescent beam of a lighthouse. And screaming their heads off, tumbling over each other, diving under the shadow of a butte for cover, we see Lore and Scrum and Quailheart as they desperately avoid this cutting death laser. And still another gash opens into a pitch black universe, seething with whispers of an unknown tongue, blackened fingers, teeth reaching through and cutting through the air. We see Zephyr swooping through the horizon, raining arrows down into this shadowy murk as Xiaohu nearby also rampages forward, hollering atop rear charging panther, and Tonga, huddled behind a copse of desert brush, pilots a metal automaton to attack these grasping shadows. And yet another portal widens into a glade, a temperate forest with an iridescent sky like an oil spill, and some strange antlered tentacled creature standing in a far-off clearing, just staring into Endake. And stepping forward, we see a Gwoon and a Daria, eyebrows raised in concert, twinned faces gleaming with grim smiles as the weave begins to rise off their shoulders. And then we pan across this battlefield again to see Bomba, an old Mama Lightning, zapping across the battlefield in pillars of coruscating red lightning, walling off the chaos with structures of black crystal. We also see Wang Botian, a shadow amongst shadows, cloaked, folded in invisibility, loosing arrow after arrow after arrow into the hides of empty beasts, entropic monsters, and into the strange, unstable, weird, monogamous magic of other realms leeching into the now. We see Root, Sweetbreeze, surrounded by awakened beasts, bears, crocodiles, tigers, eagles, snakes, lions, leading the natural world's charge to defend Endake. We see Costas, swinging twin blades, hood down, half glacial face exposed, spitting through the bedlam in a screaming, furious dance of swords. We even see Jikyat Forma, Unmei, Selim, Duchess Starwing, Wu Ming, Chaos and her tigers, even Shi Yang and her pirate crew fighting ferocious pitched battles all across the arena, drenched in blood, grist, bone, ash. There's even a mighty earthquake as a huge suit of armor just lands in the middle of the battlefield. It's a frog-shaped suit. And through the glass, we see one of Squeak's sons. And stepping out of one of the thousands of portals all across this battlefield to this mech's left, we see another one of Squeak's sons, a rotund, sweaty grung man in the pristine uniform of the Endake Postal Service with what I can only describe as the most absolutely ugly badge pinned to his breast. And these two sons of Squeak turn around, they narrow their eyes at these rapidly forming portals, and they launch themselves into the chaos. Finally, we see Emperor Seong of Zhen, Lord of 10,000 years, flanked by Halo, playing Omen with skilled and dexterous fingers. Every note closes a portal, but they're opening much too quickly, much too rapidly for even the dream blessed to close them all. With every passing minute, every passing second, all of you can feel reality begin to destabilize. Every new portal, each new doorway unravels another vital thread binding Endake into herself. And on the eastern horizon, off to the side, the seed of annihilation embedded in the stranger's body begins to widen. And as it does, more and more portals open, close, depositing interplanar residue all over the Badlands, hemorrhaging chaos into the now. And it's not just Endake. All of you, not just the 8 of you, not just the 16 of you, but all of you across all realities can sense it in your guts. It's almost here. The world, as you all know it, is ending. This is it. This is the final stand. And in the middle of it all, atop the shattered remnants of the stage, untouched, Oblivion. A look of indifference etched across its face. No, that's not quite it. It's not neutrality, it's serenity. Despite the disruptions to their swan song, despite these unexpected obstacles of fate and choice, she looks serene. This is it. This is her end. Her terms. And now, we go back to the top of the initiative order for round 5. We're gonna circle back to Abiku Ishtar. Abiku, as you hurtle back into existence, from the God Shard demiplane of the Raven Queen. What do you do?
I want to do something stupid.
Please be my guest.
I have this spell called Commune with Nature that allows me to become one with nature, and usually I get to learn a bunch of stuff. Usually it's like, you know where water is and other boring stuff. I would like to use it. I want to try and tell the land through all of these rifts that are open to help us fight back, to try and ease the chaos for people to be able to fight back the monsters, to get to Oblivion or wherever they're gonna do. But like, people aren't gonna be able to move across this battlefield if there's like all of this in between us.
Okay. I think that's either gonna be a nature, religion, arcana, or persuasion check. Your choice.
I will do nature.
Go for it.
Okay. That is 29.
29. So you're trying to get nature across all realities bleeding into the battlefield to rally together and fight against annihilation?
Yeah, to like help, like, we're protecting you, help us protect you. Like in this like nature's alive, nature's another power. Biku's like, there's maybe a nature precept, I don't fucking know, but like help us help you, okay?
Okay, what does it look like as you're trying to channel this edict across realities?
I think it is, I grab some dirt from Endake, and I think Biku grabs some dirt and she whips it up and she uses her wind fan to blow it towards all of these rifts with this message of help us save you.
I really like that. Yeah. We see a plume of this red dust interlaced with white ash from the raining sky, which hasn't stopped, by the way, this entire time. Fan across the battlefield. Abiku, there are infinite realities opening and closing, and I think we see our dust fly through a couple of portals before they went closed. We see a couple of them just go through some apertures that stay open. We see various slag and magma and ice and grass and light and darkness pouring in from 100,000 different planes into Endake, and your urge, your edict, your plea, whoosh, sweeping across it all. And I think what that 29 means is some of the entities and the presences seeping into the now begin to retreat. They retract. We see something that looks like maybe a tentacle mixed with a face lift up off the ground and just repel back into its own kind of jagged, porous portal. Like it goes back after the dust wafts past its nose/sucker. And we also see like another portal that's just full of birds. There's just birds everywhere. Birds of all kinds, birds you've never seen before. It just looks like a plane of just filled with birds that are flying constantly. And we see that one close up as well, as if like abiding by your plea. But Abiku, with your 29, you also see the dust float past the face of an entropic beast. Face is kind of a odd word. It's this formless black shadow, the nightmare of Sen, that's just been eking and snaking its way across the battlefield like a bad dream, because it is. And as we see this dust waft past it, it coils away from it as though hurt by it, and you see it fall over Toktoa Kagon. She's astride her steed, and as this mist falls over her, there's like a cry that's swallowed up by this opaque mist as you see her fall off her horse, and her horse like gallops off unharmed, but she's caught in the middle of this mist. You see her begin to get like consumed by it. How do you try to protect her?
Oh shit. Okay. That spell, I'm just gonna go over there. I'm a big lady.
Okay, so
I'm gonna run over there. That's what I'll do. I'll run it because my other one's an action. I don't have a bonus action magic, so I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna run really fast.
Cool. Is there anything else you can do on your turn, or was that your action, your thing?
That was my action. I do not have any sexy bonus action stuff.
It's all good. I can say, in that case, that'll be your defense roll to try to protect Toktoa. So you can make a dex save for me as you're just trying to get there as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. have a +11 the deck saves. Whoa, thank God for that. 22.
You rolled really low, my friend. Yeah. 22. Okay. I think as you're booking it across the battlefield, we see like towers come horizontally through some apertures and then break into half as they meet other portals, and like parts of buildings go into other realities, right? They're severed by these portals. Like we see just a horizontal tower of pure marble and salt like crash in front of you. Like we see an explosion of dust rise up as you just slide off to the side and you dodge this pillar of salt and marble. And we also see like the massive claws and feet of various monsters coming through other apertures, like things that you think are icicles falling down onto the ground, but icicles aren't supposed to burn. They're not supposed to turn into this viscid jelly-like substance. And as you run, you're gonna take a little bit of damage as you get over to Taktoa. You will be taking 70 points of, I think, let's split that evenly across force, necrotic, and poison damage.
Okay, I will use my thing to resist that and make it half.
Okay, 35. 35 total then. Okay.
Woo! Gotta make it better.
Yeah, you're like shrugging it off. And then you get to Taktoa. And I think you feel a kind of like divine presence almost at the backs of your heels, urging you onward, onward, onward. Go to your beloved, go to her, rescue her, protect her. And this voice almost feels familiar. It is the voice that called to you in the dream realm, that brought you to the vault. Winds and faith, Abiku. Winds and faith. And then, whoosh, this wind blows this black mist of Sen's nightmare, just disperses it. And you see, lying, I think, kind of huddled on the ground, almost in like a broken down, kneeling, fetal position, but still on her feet, Taktoa Kagan. She's shuddering, and you can see the last bits of like the Empty's influence roiling off her back.
I want to put my hand on her, like on her shoulder. It is okay, I'm here now. Sorry it took me so long.
Abiku, she's like shaking her head as like the last wisps of this whispering, like jibing, spiteful nightmare are like wisping off of her face, and she looks up at you, and you see that her eyes were like completely covered over in black, but they're beginning to clear as she's looking at you, and she grabs onto like one arm and is holding onto it like a lifeline. Abiku, Ishtar, you, the demiplane, the not dream, the pocket dimension, I don't want you to burn, Abiku Ishtar. That's never what I wanted, ever.
That is good. I don't want you to, I think you're coming out of it still, are you okay?
Yeah, yes, I'm okay. I'm thinking clearly, Ishtar. This may be the first time I've ever been thinking clearly in my life.
Every time.
Yeah, well, what better time than right before all of us are doomed to die? Abiku.
Yes?
What happened back before Camp Vanguard was Camp Vanguard, what I said to you in the tent when we were doing hair, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I am. Fuck it, I am. I'm scared, okay? Because if I'm with you, even though you have a wife, we can talk about it later, that doesn't matter. Even if we're together, I'm scared of losing it. I'm scared of fucking it all up. I mean, look at this! And she gestures at everything.
Well, first of all, better late than never, end of the world and everything. Second of all, it is good to be afraid sometimes. If you're never afraid, then you don't care about anything.
Does this frighten you, Ishtar? And she grabs onto the front of your shirt and pulls you in close.
I kiss her. I don't say anything, I just kiss her.
You kiss her. And as you do, I think we pan across this battlefield over to Dewey. Dewey! So, boosh, just like everyone else, you land back into the now, to all of this happening all at once from your demiplane. What do you do?
I think Dewey is furiously searching for a rift that maybe opens up to where Dusty is. But there are so many rifts, and there are so many things he can't comprehend, even with all that he's seen. And so he sits down to cast a spell through Dusty, which is something he can do through his attunement. And he wants to cast Legend Lore to ask, where is Dusty and can Dusty come back?
Oh, God. Okay, does that require a roll usually, or do you usually just ask?
Just ask.
Okay, but I think given the circumstances, I'm gonna gesture at everything happening. I'm gonna ask you for a roll, so that's either gonna be Arcana, History, or Insight. Your choice.
I will do History. 23.
23. As you sit down amidst the bedlam, right, close your eyes and try to focus on like that Nibuza's bond or whatever it is, that thread, that relation that ties you to your sword son. I think all of the chaos, the screaming, the tidal waves of panic and bedlam and noise and artillery shells raining, all of that just sort of fades and we focus on you. Just the silhouette of Dewey sitting on the battlefield, everything else just sort of almost turns like grayscale as you close your eyes. And with your 20-something roll, you begin to sense Dusty. Somewhere, yes, through one of these portals, there they are. But there are a million portals, and they're closing and opening, and you surmise they're also changing position constantly across the battlefield, not just across the Badlands, but all of Endake itself. These portals branch past Talmud, like to the south, the north, the west, the east, everywhere. And Dusty is like a tiny little voice amidst radio signals smashing and crashing into each other at the top of a radio tower. But I think you hear that voice. Just a little tiny strain of it, just at the back of your head, fighting through all this noise. Dad? Way! There, just on just a little bit more.
I think Dewey, as these openings, as these tears in the fabric of reality are opening and closing around him, he doesn't like necessarily need to concentrate on the spell. And so he's taken, I think, a needle and thread out of Forge and is looking into these realities for Dusty, seeing that it's like each of them are not the right one, and then he's like stitching them up closed, just over and over and over and over, trying to get closer to this voice, trying to get a clearer signal.
I really like that. Why don't you make an intelligence saving throw for your defense roll, as you need to fend off the like psychic miasma coming from infinite other worlds as you stitch them up.
33.
That's pretty damn good. Okay, with a 33, you're only going to be taking 35 points of psychic damage as you're threading this needle, like eyes closed. But as you do, even though you're just doing this motion in front of your lap, we see other portals begin to close as though stitched up by Dewey's hand, alongside Emperor Zhen of Xiong, who's playing these notes. And together, the two of you are starting to close portals even as more open. Okay. Dewey, we are now going to pan over across the battlefield to Sitlali. So Sitlali, you land back into the Badlands from Sen's demiplane, feet on solid ground. Lilith, by your side, what do you do?
I think Sitlali takes a moment and takes all of this in, turns to Lilith, presses Faux Forge into her hands, and just holds there for a second. And just says, I'm not asking you to fight with us. I'm just asking you to not stand against us this time. Yeah?
Oh, Thornheart. She takes Faux Forge, looks down at it, glances up at you. She doesn't agree, but she also doesn't disagree, which for Lilith might be the same as agreeing enthusiastically.
Go on, do your thing. And then Sitlali turns to kind of look at the everything, TM. And, GM, I'd like to do some kind of unhinged shit on my turn.
Go on.
So, I think Sitlali gets their cane out. They're tired. It's been a day. And they just kind of walk through all of this, observing it. And as they do, time sort of gets weird, I think. It slows down as the wings emerge from her back. And they're falcon wings? No. Bat wings. With like black and gold storm clouds sort of roiling inside of them. And Sitlali finds a suitable spot. And stands and just kind of looks across everything as they cast Control Weather, and these storm clouds just kind of bleed out and up from their wings into the sky and just kind of obscure the chaos a bit. And then I think they pan and their eyes scan and track for the entropic beast of Sen, the one made to mock Oka. And Sitlali just kind of looks at it and goes, "You die first," as I use Path to the Grave to curse it and give it vulnerability to the next attack that lands on it. And on top of the everything, we get this red lightning suddenly striking down across all of our enemies except Oblivion. Not touching Oblivion specifically. They are avoiding Oblivion and just like striking down whatever they can. And as written, Control Weather does not do damage, but I would like to use my Divine Smite as Paladin, which does burn spell slots, so don't worry about it, to do radiant damage to as many enemies as possible. And the Entropic Beast of Sin in particular will get it, and because they are vulnerable, it will be half damage. Double damage. So
Love
Divine
it.
Smite, Divine Smite at its, we're doing max damage, so
Yes,
that's
we are.
40 radiant, so 80 radiant to the Entropic Beast attack that is meant to mock Oka.
I love that. Describe to me what it looks like as Divine Smite echoes off of your alcohol slick wings along with this roiling red lightning.
I think Sitlali's Vanash scars also kind of light up at this, and it's like very, I think there's a boom, there's a crash, there's some mayhem. And I think as all of this radiant damage just strikes the battlefield, it just kind of lights up almost like it's daylight again for at least a second.
For like 2 seconds, the entire battlefield, it seems, just lights up in bright, red, radiant, divine energy. And like all shadows disappear. It's like very odd if you've ever been in a space that's like just lit with so many floodlights, no shadows. Just like that for a minute. And that nightmare of Sen is burned, like it starts to just leech like wisps of mist off of its non-body body. It's just like you're like burning it away like ash under a torch, and you're burning the ash into nothing as this. It almost seems to be writhing in agony, right? If this thing could even feel pain, which you have a, intuition that it can't, as it just shrivels and shrivels and shrivels and shrivels from that radiant divine energy and turns into almost like a person-sized mist thing that's just continuing to twist in a weirdly jilted way despite being amorphous. And then that light dies down as you've just wiped out like an entire army of Wretched. Just an entire chicken boys gone, right? Entire platoon of chicken boys completely gone, of tooth spitters gone, howlers gone, right? But this is your main prey, right? And as it shrinks down, you see it's got like maybe like 20 hit points or something left. Like it's on its last. This is not doing well. And you see cutting through the battlefield, Mercy. She's got her great sword aloft. She's shouting. She jumps up into the air in this perfect muscular arch and bam! Like comes down and just slashes this thing into two to deal the final blow, right? And this thing just dissipates into nothingness. And the Nightmare of Sen is dead. That thing is ultra mega dead. And there's this moment as the two of you look at each other across the battlefield, maybe several dozen of feet away, and she's looking at you, panting really hard, sweating, but she's grinning, right? And then a shadow falls over her. and we see the shovel, the flat of the shovel of the gravedigger, start to come down. And it's like in bullet time. As you see Mercy, she hasn't noticed it yet. She's still looking at you, grinning, smiling, like holding up her sword, like, did I do well? But you see that shadow coming down, 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 and then boop, Mercy vanishes. Mercy can't do magic. What the hell? And then boop, behind you, you hear Mercy go, what the, huh? And then time gets fast again, and that shovel hits empty nothingness, just onto the ground. And as you turn to look at Mercy, you see that Lilith is standing next to her with like one hand holding onto your girlfriend's arm, and Lilith looks really tired. But Mercy looks super disoriented as Lilith looks at you. And you see that while your back is turned, Mother's Blessing has somehow been siphoned out of the weave, out of the air from when Duran died and shattered mind, body, soul blessing in 4 different directions. Lilith has captured it, because of course she has, because she's a fucking prodigy, and has laced it around the hollow frame of the jar. And the jar looks almost like it's like the opposite of your oil spill wings. Instead of it being iridescent, it's black, but like moving, like the void beyond stars, just all around the frame of this jar. And Lilith lets go of Mercy, who's still like staggering and reeling and looking around going, wait, I was just there? How did we, huh? And then Lilith is looking at you, Sitlali, across the battlefield, maybe 15 feet away at this point. And even though she speaks very low, you can hear her like she's right next to you. Sitlali Thornheart, I could stay here. I could fight here. Perhaps there is hope for me to change. But I don't want to, not here. I've hurt Ndake too much, and Ndake has hurt me too much. I think my soul search needs to be elsewhere. My gratitude to you, Thornheart. Take care of that one. She like gestures at Mercy with a cocked head, and then she turns and just starts to walk backward into a portal that just opens up behind her, like she knows it's about to form. And it's like a portal into some kind of city, you see maybe a wagon, some grass, a field, clouds, but that's it. And as she puts one step into this other world, she breaks eye contact with you and makes eye contact with you, Dewey. And across the battlefield, maybe 100 feet away, you see Lilith mouth the words to you. Thank you. And then she's gone. And Sitlali, how are you defending yourself against everything pouring down on you?
By being gay, probably. Fuck. I think that because Control Weather is like up and very much at their disposal, I think that they are just directing the lightning it's almost the way they used to cast back in the court. It's very structured, it's very directional and very like stiff to be very specific to like pinpoint exactly like see where things are going to land and hit it before it can like get to them, I think.
Okay, that sounds like intelligence to me, based on how logical it is.
Doesn't it sound like wisdom? Doesn't it sound like wisdom? I'm so wise.
You could argue that it is intuitive, and if it is how you used to cast in the court, I suppose it could be wisdom. I'll allow it. Make a whiz save.
How benevolent of you. Oh boy. 27.
27, pretty good. So Sitlali, as you feel these bolts of lightning, this gathering storm whipping out of your wings as Mercy shakes her head and jumps back into the fray again, giving you a cheeky wink, you're only gonna take, oh, that's not so bad, 42 points of just general damage. Let's say it's a mix of bludgeoning, force, and psychic damage from just the storm and the miasma just whipping up against your body as you're feeling the storm.
As the entropic beast of sin dies, I would like to use my Keeper of Souls ability which allows me to redistribute life force as it dies. So as it dies, snatch its vitality and give it to Oka.
Thank goodness.
So Oka would heal hit points equal to the enemy's number of hit dice. I don't know how many that is, but that many.
Okay, it's 10d10, so that's 100.
Have that, Oka.
Yeah, so Oka heals 100 hit points. Love it. So at the end of that, Sitlali, we pan away from you with your bat-like wings resplendent behind you over to Voska.
Not me forgetting that's my turn.
I caught your like jump scare on camera. I love that.
It's like, what?
Voska, you also land back into the battlefield, I think, from the demiplane of Nitbuza. You see this chaos just shrieking and roiling around you. What do?
It's funny that you say shrieking, because as Voska kind of like hurls back into now and everything all at once, and notices that one half of Strike Team A is currently busy, and most of everyone else is also very, very busy, and notices the tears in reality, things unraveling, unspooling, and notices the dead, and those who are gone, the souls that are kind of like existing around all of us, the souls of the people present who are fighting. She looks ahead, she sees Costa's fallen enemy, and she runs to him. Full speed runs towards Costas, and as she arrives there, she looks at him. Cover for me, please.
Voska!
And as she says that, I would like to use my Tales from Beyond. I'm gonna just roll. Connie, can I, because I'm level 20 and I'm a very good bard, pick my tail instead of rolling a d20?
Yeah, that's fine. Pick one.
Yes, yeah. So as she does that, she like taps Costas like how a Biku would normally tap Costas on their back and go, I need you to keep moving, and we'll use Tail of the Runway, so you can use your reaction to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space, and you can choose a number of creatures that Costas can see up to 30 feet to travel up to with my charisma modifier, which is +5. So Costas can just go boop, 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 and start finding people to cover for what I'm about to do.
I love it.
So I think like how it manifests is Voska is just like is like beginning to spin Parable, taps Costas to set Costas off. And as she does so, she like looks around and notices all the souls around her. I would like to use my action to cast Dissonant Whispers, but I specifically want to use the Whispers of the Souls because she's a soul magician and she is weaving them together and their wills and their love for Andake to keep the threats at bay. Any sort of entropic beasts are still alive can take this damage, or just any of the eldritch entities that are making their way into our realm. Insert redacted number of eldritch entities that are here, and just beginning to like weave their souls and their voices to form this wave of whispers and shrieking and song together. And she's just pirouetting and pirouetting and pirouetting, spinning in place to weave them together with Parable.
Yeah. Okay, what's the max damage on Dissonant Whispers?
I'm casting it at the highest level I can cast it at, which is 9th level. So I'll be doing 11d6, so that is 66 psychic damage.
Oh my god. Okay, so between the paradise of Monk Chenjudi, the darkness of Galtanger, the grave digger of the Raven Queen, and the storm catcher of Utabathi, which of these entropic beasts would you like to target?
I hate that Oka's father is just constantly being held down from a very, very important task that they're doing. So we're going after the one that's for Monk Chenjudi.
Oh yeah, back to back, mother, father, and child beasts are getting slain. I love that. So that's the paradise. It's this formless beam of void light, white mist, white cloud, white fog, in stark parallel to the black mist, black cloud, and black fog of the nightmare. So what does it look like as you whip Parable into a frenzy and cast Dissonant Whispers?
I think as Voska is dancing, it's like that of a ballerina. She starts off like, which is why she needed Costas to cover. She's so vulnerable right now as she just spins herself like a top, using Parable as like her anchor, as it holds upright, which is very strange in physics sense, and she's just spinning and spinning underneath it. And all the souls that are willing and consent to this merge themselves towards her, and there are all sorts of colors, the colors of all the different souls, iridescent, beautiful, gem-like, as she glitters, and it almost looks like snowflakes glittering in starlight.
I think teleporting with like remarkable, unthinkable speed. Costas is going at like Mach 2, just all around you with twin blades gleaming, like gashes in the night sky, fending off projectiles, fending off empty beasts, even other entropic monsters, and strange eldritch abominations and influences and miasmas leeching in from other worlds as you make yourself vulnerable and you call upon the whispers of the various lingering souls on this battlefield. And I think as we see these iridescent whispers beam off of you like sweat off of like the turning pirouetting body of a ballerina, we see several of these latch on to that white mist, almost like a web, like a net, just like over the mist. And even though the mist, it seems like it should be able to see past the gaps, it doesn't. Like the net closes around it and shrinks it down so it's no larger than I think like a pearl, right? Like a gleaming, misty, cloudy white marble. And then Costas blinks in front of it and smashes their twin blades down and shatters that pearl. And the entropic beast of Mengsheng is no more.
Let's go.
I'm assuming it's a dex save to defend yourself as you're continuing to whirl and command the whispers.
Excellent.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to impose disadvantage on myself with my silvery barbs because I made myself vulnerable.
You know what? I won't say no. Go ahead.
I rolled pretty bad, Connie. Oh, and I rolled a nat 20. But the lower roll is indeed a 10 plus 8, an 18.
What are you at right now?
I'm at 98 hit points.
Okay, then I think what that means is maybe because you've boomed Costas, they're gonna use their reaction to intercept some of the damage for you, so you're not gonna take the full amount of damage, you're only gonna take half of this. And I'm also giving you this boon because you did impose disadvantage on yourself, which is a baller move, but my god, Val, let me help you out here. Costas is beaming all around you as projectiles, as bits of entropic beasts and empty monsters like slink past their defense. So the full amount of damage would be 140, just accumulated bludgeoning, necrotic, and piercing damage, but that's halved to 70.
Whew, that's good, that's fine, I'm bloodied, it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I silvery barbs myself, so I'm just marking off that spell slot as a reaction. And I'm going to give advantage over to Vasanti.
Okay, yeah, I think we see a thread of Nebuza almost repel off you, shoot across the battlefield toward Vasanti, who, when you guess it, is next in the initiative order. So Vasanti, as you land on the battlefield as a freaking draconic mage in your full draconic form, you are rippling with scales and fur and whiskers and antlers, and that thread of Nebuza coming off Oscar like repels up the entire length of your body, and you glow with like almost this divine providence, this fateful energy. What do you do?
Well, first off, I'm going to use all that divine energy to use for the first time Draconic Presence. I'm going to use 5 sorcery points, and anything within 60 feet, I'm going to choose whether they're charmed or frightened of me. I'm going to go with charmed. Vasanti's charming, so any creatures within 60 feet of me would technically roll a save to see whether or not they get charmed.
Why don't you just make like an attack roll in that case? Just like roll your d20 and add your modifiers as usual.
All right. 26.
Okay. I think you will get a good amount of like a huge radius of just various, not just empty beasts, but strange monsters and entities starting to crawl out of various portals. You're gonna get like pretty much everyone in like a 60-foot radius of you, let's say.
Excellent. That's just warming up for the day. How many entropic beasts are there left?
There are 3. The Darkness, the Grave Digger, the Stormcatcher.
Okay. Vasanti is going to just take all of that energy and leap up into the air and start flying at her heart's desire. She is a goddess running through the sky, and she's gonna stop hovering in midair for a bit, and you see in her mouth something growing, a light, red burning, this red glow, which is hard to see because everything is already pretty red, but you can see this red glow going about her as this light in her mouth grows brighter and brighter, and she ends up spitting 4 almost meteor-like things as she casts Meteor Swarm on the remaining 3, and then she'll send the 4th one just to some other horde somewhere. Maybe there's a beast coming out of a portal that she just smacks down. And that's 240 points of fire and bludgeoning damage.
Total?
Yeah.
You like kill?
Each meteor is that much damage.
I love that. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So I think what happens as your, throat is brimming with this fire, this cracking magma, and a meteor storm starts smashing onto the ground, is the Stormcatcher. This massive, plodding creature with these 4 stout limbs. We see those pylons jutting out of its crystalline shell. It's like a crystal turtle with no neck or face. We see those pylons begin to vibrate and like in a kind of like sickly entropic way, like open up a well in the weave so that all 4 meteors are drawn to it, and it takes the damage for all of its brethren, and we just see it like explode, like literally explode in a massive cavalcade of fire and magmous rock just raining everywhere. And when the dust like settles down back on the ground, it's gone. It's completely gone. We don't even see remnants of it. There's just a smoldering black pit where its body used to be. It's dead. But the Gravedigger and the Darkness are still up. Everything within, like, let's say, like 120 feet of the impact point, though, is completely flattened and dead.
Valid. In that case, I'm also gonna I'm just using all my sorcery points to use a quicken spell to use another bonus action. I think Vasanti is just gonna, again, kind of fly over, and this is a sort of a twofold strategy. One is to fly over as many creatures to charm them, and 2 is also to let out a little bit more flames out of her mouth to cast Incendiary Cloud, essentially. This is the actual mechanic.
Love it. So what's the max damage on that cloud?
80 points of fire damage.
Okay, we see Vasanti like swoop through the battlefield like a flying snake, a draconic mage. It's your body's also just knocking enemies left and right, just down, thrashing with your huge scales, your claws, your rippling fur, your antlers, just goring people left and right if you want to, as like your mouth is brimming with these flames, with a cloud of just sparking red fire, a green light, purple light rolling off of you in equal measure as well. And you're just killing monsters, slaying beasts left and right, leaving, I think, death, destruction, and charm in your wake. Those you don't kill are just sort of standing there with this like glitter, like ding, 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 like this cloud, this plume of like charm dust, I think, wafting and drifting and staying around their minds and their heads as they just sort of stop fighting and just sort of like seem to just stand there wavering on the spot. At the end of your turn, tell me how you're trying to stave off damage, how you're trying to defend yourself and others.
I think because this is her first time doing this, and I think doing all of that massive amount of magic probably exhausts her a little bit. And if it's all right with you, I think she starts to actually, it's almost like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Rocketeer, this movie from the very early 90s, but there's a moment where his rocket pack just starts like stop going and he just like falls to the ground, and that's kind of what happens. It's like just her draconic form just slowly, like you just see it like start to shift a little bit, and she gets weaker and weaker. Maybe a constitution save to just like basically like almost explodes in a little red flame and then her normal form like flies out of the fire and onto the ground.
Sure, okay, so make a con save for that.
I'm gonna use my final luck point. Mine as well, right? The last one. That's the exact same thing. Okay, well that is a then 14.
14. Okay. Vasanti, just like Abiku was back in the vault, in your draconic form, your hit point max is tripled. So keep this in mind when you take this damage. As you're just carving a path of chaos through the battlefield, you're like killing monsters left and right, but they're also jumping at you. You are a huge target here as you're parallel to the ground. I think your belly almost like snaking along the dirt and the grass and the rock of the Badlands, and you're gonna take an accumulated from just various attacks on all sides 200 points of damage. Of just like slashing, gouging, burn, frost, like all kinds of damage. It's accumulated 200 total. But your hit point max is tripled when you're in this form. And I think like by the end of it with your 14, you tumble out of your form, right? Like kind of like there's like another huge explosion of incendiary cloud and gas and fire that covers you, that obscures you, and when the smoke dies down, it's Vasanti back in humanoid form, back in mortal shape, on the battlefield, a little singed, a little battered, but still standing, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm pretty sure that 200 wouldn't knock you down to 0 if your max is
not with that max. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah. And like the last of this cloud and these meteor storms like die down around you as you're just standing there, your like golden hair sort of rippling out behind you. And Vasanti, we're gonna pan across the battlefield away from you, up and over to Gentle. Gentle, just like Voska, you've landed back in the battlefield, and Nitbuza's favor still sort of like rippling off of your shoulders as you look across this chaos. What do you do?
I think the first thing I'm going to do is fly up. I haven't had curiosity in a while, and I just kind of want to take in to see who needs help.
Okay, yeah. I think as you cast your gaze across the battlefield, trying to find folks who might need your assistance, why don't you make a perception check for me?
I have a question.
What's up?
Can I add my keeper power to this?
Yes, you can.
All right, beautiful. Gentle's keeper power is called Threads of Possibility. Once per long rest, Gentle can describe a course of action there someone else might take, and Nitbuza's God Shard will reveal clear visions about the outcome of that action. Gentle's done pulling this thread, they gain a +10 to the next skill check they make to pursue that course of action. So, perception, you said?
Yes, make a perception check. Is there anyone in particular you're looking for?
How are any of Gentle's entanglements doing?
Good Root, Sweet Breeze, Sitlali, Duran.
Root, Wing, Sitlali, Duran.
Okay,
How
good.
are any of them doing?
Go for it.
Okay. So 18 plus 21 is
18.
39. Yeah, I rolled an 18 and I added my 21, which is just what I get as a bonus to that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. Oh my goodness, you're going ham. So, I think what that means is your eagle-sharp eyes scan the battlefield. You see just pitched battles happening everywhere between Endokin soldiers and empty beasts, between empty beasts and beasts from beyond, between beasts from beyond and Endokin soldiers. Everyone is fighting everyone, right? Like there's like third and fourth and fifth, an infinite number of sides have been added to this battle, and everything is chaotic. And you can feel the weave snapping around you, destabilizing. The more portals that open, the more unstable and entropic everything becomes, hurtling toward doom. This has to end now. And as you sweep your gaze across the battlefield, you see Root, Sweet Breeze. Their beasts are fighting alongside them, but they themselves are being backed into a corner by, I think, the hulking shadow of the Gravedigger. And we see rising up next to the Gravedigger, off of the ground from broken bodies, are the felled corpses of not just empty beasts, but also like Endokin soldiers and entities from other planes as well begin to rise in these sickly cracking noises, flanking like the huge, massive feet and the spade of the shovel next to the Gravedigger as Root's being advanced upon. What do?
I think, like a rocket, I make my way over there. And for pure dramatic timing and whatnot, I think I've been wanting to use my thread for so long, is like right as the like shovel's about to come down en route, it's a little Spider-Man, if you will, just use the thread and pull Root right into my arms, just so I can catch him.
I love that. Yeah, like you fling your arm forward and it's invisible, like invisible Spider-Man webs. You pull Root out of the way of the shovel just as it crashes and hits another empty space. And as plumes of dust rise up, Root repels horizontally through the air like a dancer being like gently thrown across like the stage by their partner. He spins through the air and lands in your arms. Gentle.
Hi, glad to see you. I noticed you could use some help.
Gentle, thank you. But that thing, that living, unliving monument to sacrilege against everything the Queen stands for, can you stop it? With me?
Yeah. I've taken down 2 of these today already, so I think we got this.
Then we'll make quick work of it.
We got this. And then I think I give them just a little peck on the cheek. Cute.
Cute indeed. Would you like to hit this thing with your fists?
As many times as I can, please.
Go for it.
Let me try to farm a crit, please. I would like one. Everyone else is getting them, and I think it'd be fun to join in. Fucking yes. All right.
You got a crit?
Yeah, it only takes me rolling 1,000,000 dice every time.
Love it. So deal max damage, and then for the one that you got a crit on, you can deal 2 rounds of max damage.
Okay, so that is 120 with the extra crit damage.
You kill this thing.
Beautiful.
Describe to me what it looks like as you punch the shit out of the Gravedigger.
I think it tries to go for another like jab at us with the shovel, and just pure gentle moves of runs up the length of the shovel, up the arm, and just like right one big ass kick underneath the chin, and like hits it so hard it just lifts off the ground.
Yeah, you kick it under the chin and its hood, which had been obscuring its face and features, falls back. And you see that it doesn't have a head. But your foot still seems to connect with something invisible and hard as it like lifts up off the ground like a couple of feet and then like collapses. It's just gone. It's like it hits the ground, boom, like it stops moving, and another huge plume of dust rises up, and then when the dust dies down, we see its body begin to discorporate, just like every other entropic beast, into that like fine black ash. Okay, and Root, still like clinging onto you, lets out like a big breath. Gentle. And he turns and looks at you, and you know what's about to happen next, Gentle.
I do.
Root leans up and kisses you.
I return in kind.
I love that. And I think panning away from this kiss, across the battlefield, we find someone else. Oka. Oka, like everyone else, but especially Sitlali, you land back into the battlefield, feet on solid ground, Sen's presence, still whispering, affirming, encouraging, divinely in the back of your mind as you cast your mismatched gaze across this chaos. What do?
Oka opens their palm where they had been holding Duran Cotter's heart. And instead, in their hand, is the pendant, the silver coin pressed into their palm. And they close their fist back around, and they look for him. They find Duran, and they run toward him.
You do. I think Duran is also, everyone blinks back into existence simultaneously. So you see Duran only like 30, 40 feet away from you in the battlefield at this point, and they were dead, on their back dead, heart gone the last time you saw them, but they're up right now. And though there's like a gash in the center of their chest, you see even now it's starting to stitch up, and like some color is starting to return to their face. They still look real bad, but they're not like unconscious at this point. What do?
Oka approaches, and I think they were running and they slow like to a walk. They take the last few steps at a walk as they approach Duran. And their face is kind of unreadable for a hot moment before they reach up and press the pendant to Duran's forehead. And then they lean in and they kiss him. And they'll give you back 20 points, 20 HP, as I'm going to use my healing hands. As they like cup underneath his chin. pull back. I knew you could do it.
Before Oka pulls back, I think while the two of them are kissing as their lips meet, Oka can also feel, while they are weaving their own magic, that Jiran is pulling on something too while they're kissing. And at first you think, oh, Jiran is pulling on the threads of the weave, but then no, this doesn't feel quite like that. Jiran is pulling on the threads of fate. And I would like to use my keeper ability, the Lover's Gambit, in order to alter the course of fate. And Oka, as Jiran pulls away from you from this kiss, you feel in your mouth a gold coin sitting on your tongue. Mechanically speaking, you now have a nat 20 to use whenever you'd like. Also important to note, Connie now has a nat 1 to use whenever they want.
That's horrifying. Thank you very much. Oka keeps the coin on their tongue, and they pull back. And I think at the same time, Oka's heart, Jiran's heart, and Kane's heart all restart. They all start beating again. Like, it goes 1, 2, boom, together, the three of them. And Oka takes 1 step backward, 2 steps backward, before they draw Dream Hunter again, and they vault over a taxi and stab whatever is closest to them as they start carving their way forward through the crowd.
I love that, yes. Oka, you vault over a taxi, your feet land on solid ground, and you start carving through wave after wave after wave of minions, empty beasts, entropic like goons, as well as various entities and influences, magical and scientific and otherwise, leeching through these portals. So why don't you just deal damage, max damage to the poor minions around you?
I'll roll to see if I get any 20s. I don't this time around. I'm saving that though. Thank you. Oka, I do bow. I believe with Dream Hunter, I do 74 points of damage total. That's a variety of necrotic, lightning, fire, slashing, and radiant altogether. Just a lot of those. Don't worry about it too much. So that's 74 times 2, whatever number that is, in this turn as Oka just carves through empty beast after empty beast after empty beast. And if it's okay with you, I think they leap over and down and cut through an empty beast as their back presses to their mother-father's back. As she's trying to pull different portals closed.
I love that. I think as you slash and singe and burn and desiccate your way across the battlefield, 148 enemies fall to your blade, ranging from minions to gibbering beasts taller than towers, to face stealers, to hydra flayers, all kinds of beasts, 148 of them, just a path of destruction, fury, and change in your wake, pinging off of your shoulders like your wings as they're resplendent and flung wide past behind you. And eventually you turn and you brace against your mother-father's back. And she feels you. You feel her back stiffen, her head rise as she continues to play her gutian. Child, look at you, a shark eating your way through an ocean of blood.
I was taught quite well in the slumbering palace as Oka cuts through another thing. And then there's a moment of tense silence as they twirl the blade around, look over their shoulder slightly. Did you ever think about how we were supposed to die together?
Oka. And they turn completely to face you, right? The Gutian floating in front of them off to the side, so there's nothing separating the two of you but a bare few inches of air. And you see past those pearls, each of which is worth enough to buy a village somewhere in Endake. Those strings of pearls dangling in front of their face. You see their hard carved jawline, their cheekbones, those royal eyes mismatched just like your own, staring at you. And they say, I was never going to let you die, you fool child.
What?
And I need you to make a defense roll right now. How are you trying to defend yourself in the middle of this conversation?
Can I make a charisma save?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right. 16.
Ooh, mama. Okay, that is not sufficient. You're going to take a similar amount of damage as Vasanti did, but your hit point max is not tripled. So, I think what happens is something... Yes, Abiku.
Can I give Oka my inspiration that I have not used this entire campaign as I shout across the battlefield, Oka, watch out?
You can, I'll let you actually. Abiku's voice rings across the battlefield as we see something huge smash out of like 8 portals at once. These are all portals leading into the same place, and this thing comes out simultaneously as it starts gibbering toward Oka. But Oka, you hear that, you have inspiration. You can use it if you want.
It was a nat 1.
I did my best.
It's too little too late. Abiku's too far. There's nothing to be done. It's just you and your mother, father, and we see 8 different limbs, each a different color, each a different shape, each a different heft. One looks like maybe like a god's limb, all brawn and power and sharp claws. Another looks like an animal's limb, like furs, with only 2, I think, joints melded together with bone. And another limb is just made of pure bone with like spikes coming out. And this seems ought to be connected to the same creature. But its body and its face are still in the other realm. As these limbs shoot forward and grab onto you, Oka, one of the hands grabs onto a wing, another grabs onto another wing, and the other grab onto your limbs, and they start to try to literally pull you apart. But your mother, father, completely nonplussed by all of this, is going to use their reaction to ping a thread on their Gutian, on Omen, and whoosh, you feel something halo around you protectively as all 8 of these limbs are cut. And immediately all of those grasping fingers and joints and tendons and digits release from your body and fall in like a rainfall of just blood. Like around the 2 of you. You're splattered with red blood, green blood, white blood just raining down around the 2 of you. And your mother, father looks at you and continues their sentence as though their conversation with you had not been interrupted. You may very well be the most powerful blood mage Andake has ever seen, child. But I am your mother, father, and I am the most powerful necromancer in the history of our world. I am Lord of 10,000 years, and that title means something. And in that moment, Oka, you know. You know, because your mother, father wants you to know. You look at them. That immaculately sculpted face that could be 30, 60, 190. Their eyes, one with 3 pupils, one without. The third one brimming open across their throat. Their crown, their fingers, their mouth. And you know, your mother, father is perhaps the most accomplished lich in Andake's history. And she is not letting you die here.
For the first time in their life, Oka kneels. They plant their sword. They put both of their hands on it. They press their forehead to the blade. And when they look back up, there is a clarity in their features. A bone-sharp, bloody, raining clarity as their eyes flick past their mother-father onto the stage where Oblivion is, and they take their sword up out of the dirt, and they fly.
Oka, I love that. As you fly forward with that clarity, the jade hilt of Dream Hunter brimming in your hand as you rush past your mother, father,
holding what used to be their soul box,
They turn back to the battlefield and strum their fingers over their current soul box, Omen, and continue to play. And we are going to cut across the battlefield now to Duran. Duran!
Sorry, I feel like I need a moment to recover from that. Okay, sorry, go.
Duran, you've landed. You've got your heart back. You've got your soul back. You've got your body back. Mother's blessing is gone. That coin brimming in your hand. What do you do?
Duran is going to look over across the field, and Oka's words are roiling through their mind right now. I knew you could do it. And they remember what it was like to be an empty monster, to be one of them. And I think his eyes fall on the last entropic beast, and he thinks, they deserve a choice. I had a choice. They deserve one too. Empty monsters, they're just beasts, people, emissaries, corrupted by Mother's blood. There's a consciousness in there somewhere. It doesn't have to be this way. And so Duran runs over to the last entropic beast and stands in front of it and tries to cast heroism, trying to go look into himself, into whatever connection that he has to Scott and Nectus, to help imbue this spell with a little bit more power than it would normally have, in order to get specifically at whoever, whatever is inside of this entropic beast, into their consciousness, and imbue them with the bravery, the ability to fight back against this corruption.
Okay, you rush forward to the last entropic beast remaining on the battlefield. It is the darkness of Galtanger. How fitting you scream into the void as your final plea. It is a tenebrous sheet of pure shadow, currently domed over a butte. That's how huge it is. That is just like covering that entire area in just pitch blackness. And you stand at it like you're at the edge of an event horizon. And tell me how heroism bubbles up through your pores in this magic.
I think you can see Duran's like braid whipping behind him, the paranda like moving, the coins, silver coins that are on the end of it kind of jingling. And as Duran stands there, I think they don't say anything, and instead they kind of just look up at this entropic beast. And as they look, each coin on the end of their paranda starts to disappear, I think one by one by one. I think being eaten up by the weave by Scott and Nectus as they try and connect to this beast in their soul, in some deep, intimate way, in a way that he can understand because he has been there before.
Okay, make an insight check with advantage because you've been there before.
Why am I like this? Okay, so I rolled a nat 1, and then I rolled a 5, which is a total of 8.
That's okay. In that case, I want you to...
It's a holy number, Connie! In Arc 6, you said that in Arc 8, if we rolled an 8, it could be treated as a crit. You said that. In Arc 6, you said that. This one time. Come on. It's a holy number.
I was also going to say, I have inspiration I have never used.
Also, I have the advantage from Voska I never used.
To all of your banding together with the power of friendship to strike down your GM.
We're unionizing.
Fine. Fine. I will allow it this once on this one roll for the 8 to be treated as a nat 20. Fine. Yes, I will allow it. Yes. Gerard.
Yes. I love you all.
You stand there looking up at this huge dome of shadow, your eyes widen, and you're in it. You're not in the empty, you're not in the nothing plane, you're inside the darkness of Galtanger. You're inside its consciousness? Does it even have a consciousness? What is this? It feels like, well, there's no sight, there's no sound, there's no taste, there's no smell, there's no sensation. It's just a feeling. And the feeling is one of a rule that forms a barrier, a closed circuit. And for like half an instant, you're thrown back like 10 lifetimes ago to the basement of the chrysalis when you shook Adam's hand, and you didn't know it at the time, but a curse had bound itself around your wrist then. You feel something here. It's not quite curse. Curse is so pedestrian. It's too mortal. It's too knowable. There's something binding the not consciousness of this entropic beast that only allows it to be nothing more than an entropic beast. It is a darkened halo, a circlet around the head of a god that prevents them from accessing any sort of genuine choice. That circle, that shackle you feel around the not mind of this entropic beast. It seems to be tethered across the battlefield back toward the stage to Oblivion, but that wasn't surprising necessarily. You knew that this thing came from Oblivion, but there's something even bigger at play here, something blanketing even this blanket of darkness, preventing it from changing, from making genuine choices the way you have been allowed to. And poof, you're pulled out of that realization back into your own body.
While I am being pulled out, I think Duran seeing in a way inside of themselves that circlet, that shackle, reached out and tried to pull it and break it to give at least some semblance of choice, even if there's something greater at play here, just a little bit to help them fight.
I'm gonna need you to make a fate saving throw. So that is a flat d20.
I got a 10.
Oh, Duran. As you try to pull on that shackle, it's not pain, necessarily, I don't think, that shoots through your body. It's just almost kind of like disciplining. Just a little punishment, a little slap on the wrist. And as that slap on the wrist, I think, yanks you out of the not consciousness of the entropic beast, your hit points are gonna go poof, just down to a 1. Just that perfect leap from wherever you are currently down to a 1.
And I think Duran reels as he, I think, was physically like moving his hand to try and like rip this shackle off. And so he like reels, hand still outstretched, in pain a little bit, but like not really, and falls to their knees, I think, looking up at this beast and just says, "We'll get you out."
And Duran, as you fall down there looking up at this beast, which seems to be rippling at the edges, you get the distinct sense that you weren't even like punished or disciplined or hurt. Definitely not hurt, but you were scolded. That was the distinct sense. You were scolded by something greater than comprehension itself. And we pan up to the sky, where we see glowing on the horizon that numerical pillar of light, that one still beaming and thrumming there. And underneath it, lit up by it, like basking in the light of a forgotten moon on the stage, Oblivion. She raises her hand and snaps. And that one turns to 0. And on that, we're going to cut to break. So thank you everyone so much for tuning into Arc 8, Episode 6. I've been your GM so far. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Back to the conclusion of this. Love you so much. Bisho.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Hello. My name is Erica, I play Vasanti Nakshurzo, and thanks to our friends at Bears Games, I'm going to share with you my favorite and most passionate project, my stream. I'm a streamer and content creator on twitch.tv/Erica Please, where I play a variety of things, including role-playing on a Red Dead Online server known as Wild RP, speedrunning Resident Evil 7, where I'm 20th in the world, and many other games. The old pulling the heart out of the chest trick. It's like my character V Nakshurzo in Transplanar RPG. Hey Scott and Nectus, the gods that are supposed to join with me. Oh shit, that's my heart you've got in your hand, Scott. Well, this is awkward. I've streamed for over 3 years, and I've been a full-time content creator for 2 years. and I have strived to make a safe space for any of those people who have found themselves on the outside looking in. As a professionally trained clown, I'm not afraid to get a little goofy, while also sharing my struggles with chronic joint pain, the struggles of being a sober alcoholic, and navigating the world as a white transgender woman. What's the deal with pressing down? You press down and it doesn't work! Why don't they just call it standing up? We do a lot of silly things, but we're not afraid to have some tough conversations. I also do a bit of fundraising, having raised over $6,000 across the Game On to End Lupus campaign every May, Trans Lifeline, and also for aid to local businesses and organizations rebuilding in Minneapolis following the riots in 2020. I believe in the power of joy and laughter, but also in giving back and paying forward to the next person in need. Come join me where I stream nearly daily as my body allows, and let's have a good time together. Come hang out at twitch.tv/Erica Please.
Welcome back, everybody, to Arc 8, Episode 6 of Transplanar RPGs, The Second Stranger. Let's get right back into things with a reminder of content warnings for this episode and our campaign in general. They may include fantasy violence, apocalypse, trauma and grief, depictions of war, body horror, gore, blood and bloodletting, death of loved ones, familial struggles, complex and complicated relationships, romance and references to sexual entanglements, monsters and monstrosity, and eldritch abominations. So use !CW for full list of these content warnings at any time in chat, and !safety for a look at the cast's lines and veils to know what content we'll never get into no matter how dark things get. So, with that out of the way, let's get right back into it. You ate. In particular, I don't know why exactly, but it's always you ate. So pesky, so meddlesome. Let's go backstage now, shall we? And then everything goes black. The battlefield, gone. The shouting of soldiers, gone. The crimson eyes, the bone-white dust, the myriad portals winking open and shut, gone. No more entropic beasts, no more empty monsters, no more apocalypse even, just like that with a snap of the fingers and a countdown of the clock. The 8 of you, 4 paragons, 4 keepers, have been transported elsewhere, away from the fight. The battle's still going. All of you can sense it. The weave radiating off of each of your bodies strains to return to its source. But it can't. Not here. It's not the nothing plane. After all, the never is, as you all realize by now, it's an extension of entropic magic from Oblivion, a manifestation of their influence in reality. The heat radiating off fire, the miasma around a desert shrine. This place feels smaller than the never. It also feels much, much bigger. There are 4 walls. Well, 8 walls, technically, if you count the adjoining kitchen. Floors made of polished wooden slats with nothing on them, no rugs, no armchair, no table, no couch. Nails hammered into the walls with nothing hanging on them, no accolades, no picture frames. Bookshelves leaned up against corners with no books in them. A fireplace with no fire. A kitchen with no utensils, no plates, no bowls, no food. This is Dr. Eluso's homestead, stripped bare, naked, empty, with nothing to its name, not even color. Everything here, yourselves included, is black and white. Shades of desiccated, bleached gray, like the inside of a fossilized painting. Without its usual fixtures, the furniture, the fire, it feels so vast, lonely, empty. The 8 of you stand in this bare, unfurnished living room. And standing in front of the empty fireplace is Oblivion. She is leaning against the mantle, this 9th god, her fingers threaded through her perfectly gray-scale hair, her index finger and thumb pinching the bridge of her nose. And when she finally looks up, she doesn't look jubilant or angry or even mildly annoyed. Oblivion just looks sad. Well, we've had our ups and downs, haven't we? I surprised you, you became capable of surprising me, and despite the twists and turns of our grand finale, I must admit, I think I had fun. Fun. Perhaps an approximation of fun, so thank you for that. genuinely, this has been a good ride, as you mortals say. But everything comes to an end, eventually, when I exist. It's just the way it is. I don't want to do this by force. All of you have given me such a superb showing. I'll let you go out in the order you want. And I can promise, I swear it on my heartless heart, that it will be painless. It won't feel like anything. It won't feel like anything at all. So who's first?
I am not first. I just have something to say really quick. So I told Dewey this because Dewey is very smart, but I feel like everyone should know. So the Fate and Magic made everything, you know. But when they made everything, they didn't ask. I point like back to Oblivion. They didn't ask Oblivion about what they wanted to do, so they got let out of like their family didn't call them. They were like, we're going to make existence and it'll be so cool, and we'll call it the journey, TM, and like people will do stuff and make things, but they didn't give like Oblivion a job in the family business, as it were. So now, you know, he wants to get rid of everything because they've just been existing since ever. That part I don't get. Not able to do anything but be like the bad guy, and when they ask for help they accidentally kill people because they're Oblivion, and when they try and stop things it doesn't work. So if maybe we can like all stop it somehow. But that's what I told Dewey, but there was like a whole war outside, you know. Did I get everything, Oblivion? Is that it?
Oh, that meddlesome doctor. Should have vanished her when I had the chance. Well, I suppose my chance is now. It doesn't matter what you know. Doesn't even matter if it's true or false. It doesn't change anything. Nothing does.
Okay, so I got everything. I will take that as a yes, everybody, and then we can like us back to standing with the group.
I think Voska hearing this kind of, as soon as Abiku like finishes her explanation, snaps her gaze back to Oblivion, who is probably still facing the mantle, and walks up to them, holds out her hands for Oblivion to take.
Oblivion looks down at your outstretched hands, looks back up at your mismatched eyes. What is this? Some final trick? Some final attempt to stop the inevitable annihilation of everything you know, love, and hold dear?
Not a trick, no. Just a final dance between friends. Yes?
Friends. Why not? And she takes your hands.
And Voska leads the dance. Perhaps uncharacteristic of her. And as she leads, she is watching Oblivion's movements, and she says, I remember the day we first met. I was empty, lost, forlorn, and alone. And I gazed upon your face and I thought, that is the most beautiful person I have ever set my eyes on. Truly. And in my empty, you gave me a direction. You gave me a place to put my love. You reminded me of my love. And I think at that point, Voska like spins Oblivion a little bit, and maybe it's like a tad clumsy, and pulls Oblivion back in, still holding her hand. You were always so mathematical with dance. You always try to look for the right circumference in which to spin outward from your partner and return back in. You always wondered the appropriate length of an arm span to stay before closing the distance once again. I wondered if perhaps you had a partner in mind as you did so. Your furrowed brow, your mechanical, mathematical thoughts of the world. I don't think it doesn't matter. And you are right, all things end. But I don't think that changes what is, what was, what you made. One of my closest friends and confidants. And Voska will, as she spins round, hand Oblivion over to the next person.
Yeah, Voska, as you and Oblivion dance and you say this to like the silence and witnesses around you, almost as though responding to your footwork, do you feel something kind of furry and soft spider outward from underneath your boots? An owlbear rug. The owlbear rug that Dr. Luso always has in front of the fireplace, it just is there. It wasn't there and then it's there. Though gray and black and white as opposed to its usual brown and mottled green. But as you turn and you spin Oblivion gently outward, I think the person who catches them is Vasanti.
Vasanti does catch Oblivion, and in a very gentle manner, without really missing too much of a beat, grabs Oblivion in a very gentle, sort of slow dance way and begins dancing Oblivion around the room in a very... I think Vasanti has a look of gentleness on her face that probably not many people have even actually seen. Rev, yes, maybe here and there you might spy a moment of Vasanti looking this soft, but she looks Oblivion in the eyes while speaking to Oblivion. I know what it is to be alone, and early in my life, I had one person and that person left. She died, my mother. And I went for a long, long time in my life being angry and feeling like everyone had something better and that the only way for me to get ahead was to take whatever that better thing was that others had. And then I tried very hard to allow someone into my life, and they hurt me very much. And I went a long time in that fashion, and I thought, well, never again. I will not ever do that again. And I just went further and further into anger and rage and trying to take what others had for myself, and it just led me to feeling worse and like I had to do more and that there was never enough to do. But then I met these friends, and I tried again to put myself out there when I met Rev, and we fell in love, and I fell in love even more. Now I have this woman Lotus who I loved a long time ago, and I have these friends, and I would do anything for them, and I've seen them do everything they can for me. And I can tell you that my life has had terrible consequences. I have hurt people unintentionally while trying to survive for myself and try to do what's best only for me without looking at how it affects everybody else. And I'm telling you right now that just being with others and trying to extend a hand, even if it's scary, even if it's painful, even if you're afraid of getting hurt, it's worth it in the end, friend. It's worth it. And I think with that, Vasanti takes one spin more of Oblivion and hands off to the next.
Yeah, I think by the end of your speech to her, there's like a noise like coins falling on a table as plates and utensils just return to the kitchen table, cups, mugs, coins even clattering down, as though waiting for something to be placed upon them. And Vasanti, as you gently turn Oblivion into a pirouette, they land into the next person's arms. Gentles.
I think Gentle isn't a good dancer, but I think I almost spin, like almost like two kids like holding hands and just spinning. It's something very innocent, and I think hear about that. And Gentle, I think it's like I know what it's like to be left out of things. It's a thing I know really well, actually. And despite that, I still manage to find people who mean the world to me. And despite the risk of things ending or even losing things or people, there was still something that came after. I once saved a dire wolf who was hurting a lot of people. And that dire wolf ended up having a bunch of puppies. And then during the first time the world ended, I lost her, and I lost a lot of them. But one survived, and his name is Bud, and he has gotten to grow up with me, and I've gotten to take care of him and show him so much of the beauty of this world that's still around. And even his other parent has shown him so much love and care. And even when things end, there's always something new that can happen that you didn't expect that's even more beautiful. And I think I stopped spitting at that and pass Oblivion off to the next dance partner.
As you do that, Gentle, we all smell it first before we realize it's there. Food reappearing on plates and cups filling with warm tea, with colorless smoke wafting off the surface. And Gentle, you pass Oblivion on to Sitlali.
I think Sitlali is actually quite stiff of a dancer because they learned at the court. So it's very like upright and formal. And I think as they take Oblivion, like it's a very formal waltz stance, and they kind of laugh at themselves for doing it because it's just habit. And they just look Oblivion in the eyes, kind of inquisitively. You wear the mask well, Oblivion. You wear aloofness so well. But it doesn't quite suit you. You have such a lovely face, and you love Lilith. You can't deny that. You care about her so much, and you are everything to her. Oblivion Lilith loves you so much. She feels like you are her only friend in the entire fucking universe, in every universe. You are, in the technical sense, nothing. Though you may be nothingness incarnate, nothing is something. You are something, Oblivion. You are so many things, and you can make so many things. You made your own vessel. You made all of those demi-planes to torture us in. What else could you make? With more time. Why does it have to end now? And I think Sitlali spins Oblivion a couple of times and hands them off.
As you hand them off, we see populating those empty shelves books, scrolls, tomes, accumulated knowledge and information as Oblivion is passed into Geron's arms.
Geron takes Oblivion in their arms, and the dance is like gliding on the ice of Zima Lake together. He looks into her eyes, and I think there's this look of understanding there, a look of kinship almost. So people think that you're, what, evil? Bad? I know what that's like. People have said similar things about me for a very long time. I think they continue to say those things about me even today. Because you destroy things in your wake, because you, what did Ibiku say? You kill people and things when you're asking for help. I've done the same things. Trying to help, trying to keep the people that I love safe and leaving a path of destruction in my wake. Killing people when I didn't mean to. That doesn't have to define you, what other people think of you. The way that you've stumbled, the way that you've made mistakes, that doesn't have to be it. Entropy, destruction. There's a beauty to it, isn't there? I mean, things need to fall in order for something else to grow. And, I mean, if people don't want to include you if magic and fate have shunted you off, then why is that so bad? Create something for yourself. Entropy. That can be creation. A whole new school of magic. Think about the possibilities. Entromancy, maybe. There's choice, Oblivion. There's always choice. We can be who we want to be and not the boxes that other people put us in. Bad, good, villain, hero. It doesn't matter. There's beauty in everything. And I see beauty in you. And I think with that, Jiran passes Oblivion off to the next person.
And as you do, I think the two of you step around an armchair that's just there, a table that's appeared, couches, this place seeming more and more like that warm, familiar homestead all of you know so well. And Oblivion falls effortlessly into Dewey's arms.
I think Dewey grabs onto Oblivion's hand as they're spun into his, and he takes a moment and just says, "Hi, Cardew Quirk. It's nice to finally meet you." And he takes Oblivion's hands and begins to spin them in sort of like a pas de deux, like Oblivion in an arabesque, and Dewey holding on and stabilizing. And Dewey says, "It's the little things that I think are worth, not destroying the world over, staying for. Me, I want to see my daughter Hannah win her first powerlifting championship. I want to teach Dusty to cook breakfast. I want to love someone again, if the cards were to so line up for me. I want to watch my friends grow old together." And when all this started, I didn't think I could have these bright moments again. I didn't think I could or deserved to feel anything, but I've done a lot in the past year, and I think I'm starting to become a person again. Flawed, unpredictable, able to create and destroy, but worthy of good things. I'm hoping you can let someone in to shoulder some of that everything you've been holding on to for so long. Maybe you can have some of those moments of your own. And he twirls Oblivion in a final circle and passes them on to the next person.
As you pass Oblivion on, I think fire springs up in the fireplace, thrumming with Galtanger's warmth and heat. Black and white tongues licking upward with colorless flame. And then Ibiku. Oblivion's in your arms.
Abiku's answer for me, I think, is very light and delicate, even though Abiku is the biggest woman that anyone's met. And Abiku looks down at them. This place looks a lot more like when we first met, finally. I'm glad you brought us here. You know, before I met you, I was wandering some sort of gorge that I think you made, trying to find something you had lost, you know? But I'd like to think you were looking for me, but that doesn't really make sense. But I'm glad I found you and you found me, you know? For this life that I've had, you are my oldest friend. And I don't know if you can remember all of the things we did together when you had to teach me your words, when I taught you some of mine, when I taught your birds to not poop on your windowsill. But I think the most important thing for you to know is I never break a promise. And I promised you that all of you is worth saving. And I promised someone else that we would do everything we could to save you. So, I need you to not make me a liar. I don't know about fate and magic and all of that. I can't control them. You can't control them. We can only control ourselves. So, I'm asking you to help me keep a promise. Okay? And the Biku will spin them off to the only person left in the room.
On Oblivion's way to Oka, pictures fill the walls. Images of each of you. Dr. Eluso's friends. A picture of Oka sword training with Sitlali, taken at a weird low angle, like it's off of the top of a window ledge. A picture of Dewey and Voska drinking tea in the living room as chaos rages in the back. A picture of Mercy wrestling with Oka's elk in the mud. A photograph of Gentle cooking food in the kitchen. Of Vasanti and Duran reading books together. Of Abiku, Voska, Costas eating snacks. And then Oka. She's in your arms.
There's something else in Oka's hands, too. I don't think they realized it found them, but when they look down at their hands, they're clutching a white lab coat that I think they take, let it fall over Oblivion's shoulders as they spin her, tuck it over them, like wings coming home, resting. And they come in close. And they hold her with so much violent desire to just be near her. And they look up into their face. I don't regret it. You know, kissing you. I think part of me knew that it was a trap, and I didn't really care. I am pulled toward you, Oblivion. I have spent so long being destruction, and I have died, and I have seen, and I have been nothing. And I have raged against fate so viciously, I threw myself against it over and over and over again until I was broken. But you made something so beautiful. For me, our souls are tangled up in each other. Pomegranates are his favorite fruit. He loves them for reasons that I cannot comprehend, because the rind is so thick and hard to open, and it takes her hours to meticulously pick out every single beautiful red fruit and eat it. And their fingers are always stained with the bloody work of it. But the satisfaction is so sweet. So sweet. You know her chickens, right? Patience. Fortitude. Hope. I always wondered what possessed him to give a couple of dusty desert birds names like that, but it was you, wasn't it? Planting seeds you wanted to see grow, giving names to the things that you were never afforded that you wanted to see bloom. Equilibrium Guidance Group. Egg. I wondered at that for so long. It's Hoggeton. What beautiful, monstrous, wonderful thing is born of patience, fortitude, hope? It's you. It's always been you. In every moment, I turned to you when I was afraid, when I was scared, when I needed something. I found you in the end of the world. On the bridge in green open water, in Davathati, in the palace, in the carnival, I always found you. You always found me. And Oka takes a step back, and as their leg kind of sweeps back in this open arabesque, they kneel on one knee. The love of a god is a blessing. It's a scar. It is all of me, and I offer it to you. Willingly. I have been your loyal, broken devotee for as long as I can remember, and I will give you everything. All of me. My soul, my life, my love. You've always had it. You've always had all of me. And you decide what happens now. It's Hoggeton. After all of this is over, my mother is making soup. I really think you would love it. Shank and radish stew. I'll take the meat out of my bowl and I'll put it in yours. Please come home. I love you. We love you. All of us, we love you so much. Please. Please stay with us.
Oblivion steps forward, gets down on their knees, and touches you on either shoulder with their hands. And then they pull forward and they hug you. They hug you tight against their chest. And on that contact, colors flood outward, back into the homestead. And when Oblivion pulls back, past the tears filling their eyes, you see that one eye is a warm, deep brown, and the other stays blue. And Oblivion and Dr. Luso say in concert, I want so badly to change. And you, Oka, and all of you make me think that maybe, perhaps, persuaded by footprints. What, snails? Pebbles on the side of the road? Please tell me you're joking, Oblivion. The door to the homestead is open. None of you heard it open, it just is. And standing on the threshold are magic and fate. And we're gonna end the session there. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to Arc 8, Episode 6 of Transplanar RPG. The Second Stranger. I am deeply unwell. I am your game master and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me all across the internet at by Connie Chong, BYCONICHANG. I'm gonna pass along introductions up and over to Austin.
Oh, hey, what's up? I'm Austin. I almost said my full legal name. My pronouns are I don't say my full legal name because I have an important day job. My pronouns are he, they, she. I just got done playing a Biku. I don't have a funny thing. Emotional distress Ishtar. Her pronouns are she, they. Find me on Twitter. I think I said find me on Twitter. Sailor Scott Austin on Twitter. Val.
Don't do that to me. I'm wiping my face. Oh, everyone. Oh God, I am valiant. Only love can hurt like this, Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. A teacher, performer, Twitch party streamer, writer, crier over amazing scenes with this incredible cast. I played Voska. I want to dance with somebody, Paragon Nebusa. Who uses she, they pronouns. You can find me on the internet at Also Spirit Bear or at Valiant Dorian. And it's been a wild ride. Dare, please take this from me.
Hi, I'm Dare. Love can bloom on a battlefield. Last name. Pronouns she, they, Faye. I also almost said my fucking last name. Wild. Anyway, pronouns she, they, Faye. Thank you so much for watching this today. I love all of you. Anyway, you can catch me on the internet at Dare to Dream RPG. That is DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG, where I will definitely be handling this normally the next few days. I'm just going to pass it down to Erica.
Hey everybody, I'm Erica, she, her pronouns. Wow. Oof. Played Vasanti, fire-breathing lady, but also, good lord, loves her friends. Noxurzo, you can find me at Erica Please, that's Erica PLC. You can also find me on Twitter at Erica Newgirl. That's the best I can do. Quinn.
Hey, what's up? I'm Quinn. My pronouns are they, them. I have been your Silali, Thornheart, who uses they, she pronouns. Buy my shit. Please throw money at me on Twitter at Quintastic_. I make games and things, and they might make you cry like this cast is right now. And I'm gonna get Max.
Hey, I'm Max. My pronouns are they, them. I've played Dewey, It's a Bird, It's a Pain, quirk. You can find me on the internet at Starchmonger. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'll pass things to Hamna.
Hi everybody, my name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns. I need you all to know I've never cried in a tabletop game before. This is my first time ever. This is weird. I don't like it. Congratulations to this cast, I guess, for this milestone in my life. Oh my god. I'm a tabletop performer. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects I'm a part of. Maybe the other ones will make me cry. I don't know. Find out. See, go.
Hi everyone, my name is C. Shaky voice. Last name. I almost said it too. You can find me making very trans, very gay art on the internet. You can find me weeping into my own face and listening to the saddest song imaginable through my headphones. Thank you for being here. If you know me, if you liked what I did here, you'll like what I do other places, so check me out. Most notably here next week, I suppose, to see how that goes down, because Connie, what the fuck? Connie, what the fuck?
Speaking of Connie, what the fuck? Thank you everyone so much for tuning into Arc 8, Episode 6. We're gonna be rating someone really awesome, no doubt. Tell them what the fuck happened this session. We're gonna be back with Episode 7, the second to last episode of our main campaign. The Second Stranger next week, Saturdays at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time. And for the second to last time for our main campaign, Shpee Show.